On this episode of Just Informed Talk, brand new Q posts show us Q tracking high value target in China. Plus, future has proved past as a national emergency will be declared to build the border wall, as well as the new Attorney General William Barr taking over and going in charge of Robert Mueller. Plus, President Trump announces the Great Awakening and much, much more. Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome to Just Informed Talk. I always begin by saying thank you to everybody who's coming. If you haven't hit that subscribe button already, please come here to the landing page, click the big red subscribe button, and make sure you hit the bell for notifications to be notified when these videos get posted. Here's where we're going to pick up, guys. This is where we left off. This is Q Post 2706. Of course, this is where we left off at Q Post 2705. And if you guys want to get caught up with those posts, I always encourage you to come back here to the landing page, watch these last few videos to get you caught up to all the latest Q posts. If you're scratching your head going, what in the heck is QAnon? What is this guy talking about? I encourage you to watch this video right here called What is QAnon and the Great Awakening? It'll give you all the information you need to know about QAnon, the Great Awakening, what it is, how to get involved, where to find the research, how to do the research, and all of that information you can get right there. So you're going to want to go check it out. And yeah, we're going to get right into this episode. Now, and there's actually also, you guys want to stick around, there's a warning to people like myself and others that the mainstream media is coming after us. Not that we didn't know that already, but let's just get right into this latest post. Now, we're going to look at these posts. These are pictures, okay? Now, obviously, these are pictures somewhere, you know, you're having these, they look like Chinese characteristics, and a lot of the Anons have been digging to find out where this photo was taken. So, of course, you know, you can look at this however you want, but most of the Anons have agreed that this is probably in Shanghai. Now, I can't tell you exactly what is happening because basically this is all written in code of sorts, where Q just comes out of nowhere and starts posting these pictures. So first you have these pictures right here. Of course, this looks like the picture, looks like an airplane, like the view from an airplane when you're flying in. And Q says sequence, register, location active. So most Anons are basically, you know, saying that this is in Shanghai in China. Now, what could be in Shanghai in China? Well, most of the things that we've been talking about here on the Q boards with China have to do with either Apple or other officials traveling to China and having dealings with the Chinese Communist Party. So I think that's what this is more pointing toward, especially somebody who has been pointed out to by Q a multitude of times, Dianne Feinstein and her connections to China. But we're not sure yet exactly who this is referring to. So you can keep looking at these pictures. And one of the interesting things about this was a post from Q, right? And it's got these three pictures, which look like the same pictures we saw of the airplane. And it says sequence complete, targets known, track 7B-DS Q. Okay, so nobody's really deciphered this very well yet. I've looked through everything I can. I've tried to find as much information as I can, and basically the one thing I keep coming back to is that most Anons have established that this is in Taiwan, or in Shanghai, I should say, and a lot of Anons have a lot of different theories about 7B and DS. I don't know if DS is referring to deep state possibly, and 7B might be a reference to a person or an individual, but Q's telling us that the targets are known. And another thing that was interesting about this post is that there is no trip code. Now, what is a trip code? A trip code is like it's like a username, right? And Q has an ID, and then he has a trip code. That trip code is like a username that is password protected, that lets us know it's Q who is making the post as opposed to just any old person, right? So that's the first thing that's interesting, is that Q forgot, or purposely forgot, to write in his trip code or her trip code, their trip code here. And that was interesting. It shows these pictures. Now, again, Q refers back to his own post, or their own post, and then using the trip code gives us this, which is another picture. And I think most of the Anons have located this as being a clock tower in Shanghai. And you can see here, interestingly enough, you're going to want to mark this time. We'll keep a note of this for now. But for now, we can just kind of look at it and see what's here and what we're being pointed to. I would love to hear what you guys have to say down in the comments. If you guys have any theories about what's being referenced here, please let me know. This looks like kind of the similar picture that we had earlier possibly at a different time. And yeah, so Q basically says down here, RT Nightcrawl active 3 Q. So, you know, the best I can make of this is that this is a real-time post from Q. That's what the RT would mean. And that Nightcrawl active, I guess that would be like nighttime surveillance. And then the metaphorical kill box around the number 3, which is just a bold and brackets around something, it could be referring to 3 individuals under surveillance. That's the best I have right now. If you guys have better information, please leave it down in the comments, because we're still doing the research actively as this happens. And you know, it is Valentine's Day, and I do have some other things I've been trying to get to, but this is very important. So I'm gonna cover this information, and then we'll kind of go from there. I'll love to read through the comments, see what you have to say. Of course, here are more pictures. This one looks like it is from the inside of a car. Tracking, I guess this is a part of the surveillance. And of course, another one here which looks like it's from the top of a building, looking at a different direction, I think at that similar area. So obviously somebody in this area is being tracked. A lot of the Anons are trying to break this down still on the boards, and I'm sure once they have something more positive, we'll be able to look at that. But it says pull all views plus minus 10, scan PP100Z. I'm not sure what that means. If you guys know what that means, let me know down in the comments. It says narrow plus wide, Q. So obviously Q wants us to look at all these pictures, put them in sequence, look at different views. What are all the different views looking at? I think that's kind of what it's getting at. It's to take all the different views. We're looking at the same thing, kind of. Q wants us to know, wants us to figure out what's being shown here. But like I said, you know, a lot of the Anons are still doing the research on this, trying to break these down and figure out what is going on. So I'm going to look to the comments to see what you guys have to say, and I'll keep doing the research after this video. Of course, the next one here is another picture of that. I believe it's the same clock tower that we saw in the earlier photo. Now, there is something very interesting about the two pictures. And that would be if you go back down to this picture and you click it, and you zoom in here on the actual clock, you can see it's right here. It's at, I would say that's 6:43. Let's say 6:43, right? It looks about 6:43-ish, about going into it. And then when you look at the next clock that Q posts, it's at 7 on the dot, or no, yeah, 7 on the dot, which would be a difference of, yes, you guessed it, 17 minutes. So that might be a message in and of itself, and I'm going to keep doing the research after the video is done. I'm going to keep digging into this. So whatever you guys have to contribute, throw it down in the comments, and I'll be scanning through those to see if there's anything interesting that I've missed or that needs to be reported. But it says stop, track, register all data pulls to location, standby Q. So I have a feeling we're going to be hearing about this a little bit later from Q, but for now I'm going to put this on the back burner because there's other stuff to cover, and this itself, it deserves more digging, and I'm going to be getting into that right after this video. So of course the next one here talks about the story that we all know. President Trump has decided to declare a national emergency in order to build the wall on the southern border, and I for one could not be more grateful to the president for making that move. Although there is a lot of basically flack coming back. First of all, Nancy Pelosi is already saying that the White House, basically the White House says Trump will sign the spending bill to avoid shutdown, but will declare a border emergency too, meaning there was a committee that put together this spending bill to allocate funds for the border wall. It came out to like a little over $1 billion. So President Trump says he's going to sign that bill and declare a national emergency and order more money sent to build the wall. But Nancy Pelosi has already made the warning that a future Democratic president could use the same tactic to impose gun control. And I would tell her, good luck. Good luck, because you will never, ever get rid of the Second Amendment as long as there are patriots like myself and others in this country who are willing to fight for our rights that were given us through that Constitution by our founding fathers and their wisdom and in establishing that president. So to me, I think there is some validity to her argument, saying that, you know, Democrats will use this as an example to say, oh, they can do whatever they want. But like I said, good luck, right? Good luck. So that's what I wanted to show you there. And that kind of dovetails right into this post right here where, if you guys remember back in, I'm going to say that we were told this back in like March. Q gave us the red castle, green castle, which we put together pretty quickly, was referring to the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, whose insignia is a red castle, and their headquarters are located in Greencastle, Indiana. And this was talking about the one where Q was saying, "You will not win," and that was Pelosi saying. He says, "You didn't think the largest military spending bill in history, fiscal year 2019, wasn't going to indirectly include funding for the wall, did you? Learn the Constitution revested powers of POTUS regarding matters of national security. This was planned and forecasted as the border funding solution from the beginning." And then it gives a tweet, and it says, "Anons had the proof long ago, but shining a light back then would have defeated the primary purpose of showing the public the real objective of Democrats' party of open borders, eliminate ICE, eliminate security, defend illegals over Americans, midterm election. These people are stupid, Q." Now, this was the post we got from Q previously. And then Q wants us to look at this Fox News article. And this article goes over exactly what we just talked about how President Trump is going to sign the border security bill and then declare a national emergency. This is fresh reporting out of the White House as of today. They have basically made it very clear that the idea is to sign the border security bill that was hatched out by the committee in Congress and declare national emergency, thereby getting the entire funding for the wall that is needed. So we'll have to see what the legal challenges look like in the next few days. A lot of the analysts have made the prediction that this is going to get challenged legally. It's going to be brought to the Supreme Court. You're going to have the Ninth Circus. I'm sorry, excuse me, not the Ninth Circus, the Ninth Circuit, but we all know it's a circus. They may end up overruling this and trying to throw it out, and then it'll have to go to the Supreme Court, and then they'll have to make the case that this is President's extraordinary powers that he's been given in declaring emergency. He can do this, and that is exactly what we're going to have to wait and see about. Then Q says, "Anons knew last March. Do you believe in coincidences? At what point is it mathematically impossible? Hashtag winning big league Q." So guys, here's the thing. We've been told about all of this stuff for a very long time, and now it's all starting to come together. And I know a lot of people out there are frustrated. A lot of people want things to happen quicker. But the reality is that things are happening. The plan is working. And as long as we are still here trusting it, it's still going to keep going. And you guys are seeing the results as we speak. So this is just one more example. Of course, the next one is an Anon posting this. It's like a Pepe meme with the Q eyes. And it says hashtag winning bigly and how. And Q says, "Credit to Anons who deciphered Red Green Castle. Why must we communicate why must we communicate this way? Think national security laws, Q." So we've already established, guys, we know where this information is coming from. It's a military intelligence operation. It's at the behest of the president, people who are close to the president, less than 10 people, deciphering, disseminating information out to the public, right, that the mainstream media won't cover, or the mainstream media blatantly lies to us about. So we have established an alternative to their narrative, and that's why we're under attack. That's why it has to be given to us in the Socratic method of asking questions and not making definitive statements, because it would be a violation of national security laws for this information to be told to us directly, because obviously there's classified information. There's a violation of that is a pretty steep penalty. So that's where we're at, guys. I mean, this is getting better, right? Now, another Anon says, Ask Q basically says, "Got eyes on someone in China early today. Thanks, Q, for all you and your people are doing to unite our world. We owe you more than you know." Q says, "We only go quote-unquote public when we want the quote-unquote target to quote-unquote know." And that's that obviously. So you got to think about it this way. These posts came up. I mean, I was up this morning, but I wasn't on the boards. These posts came in at like 4 or 2 or 4 in the morning, or 4 or 6 in the morning, I want to say, depending on what time zone you're in. And there were posts of Q, obviously on the other side of the world, taking pictures and surveillance of people who are nefarious actors, presumably in China, right? But obviously everybody knows about these boards. Obviously this is not a big secret. And we mustn't forget that Q uses these boards to communicate with the people, the bad guys, the black hats, to send messages to them, clear and direct messages which to me is exactly what just happened there. So they know that we know that they know that we know that they know that we know that whatever. We're watching you. Whoever you are in China, Diane, whoever, yeah, you're going to want to get ready. In the words of a famous lawyer, or an infamous lawyer, I should say, buckle up, Buttercup. Anyway, this is a great graphic. This one, I'm going to tweet this one out after. Q says memes are important, and this one goes over every individual at the FBI who's been fired after President Trump took office. Now, why were they fired? Because of their involvement in the illegal FISA spying, the abuse of the FISA warrants to spy on the President of the United States while he was just a regular citizen running for president. Okay, that's illegal. Look at how many people. This is not normal, guys. I've said this about 100 times, but this right here, all of these people, the top entire brass of the FBI being fired, it's not coincidental. It's not by accident. It's not because it's a new administration. It's because they were involved in allegedly very illegal activities that were meant to undermine the democracy in our country, and that's why they were targeted for removal. So it says, Q says, memes are important. Mod attached regarding FBI only. Last drop, refired. If nothing criminal, i.e. treason versus duly elected president, occurred, why then did majority of senior FBI leadership get fired, removed? What do they all have in common? Clinton connection. DOJ later. 2 departures imminent. Q. I wonder who those 2 departures are going to be. We'll have to wait and see, but I have a feeling that it might be a certain person named Rod Rosenstein, and it may be another certain person named, I believe, Bruce Orr. I think he's still in there, so he may be the next one to be kicked out of the DOJ. And you guys can see it for yourself. This is it right here. And what Q's saying is that this is just about the FBI. And it said if there was nothing criminal going on, and if it really isn't this treason that was committed by these individuals against a duly elected president, if that never occurred, then why would they all be fired right now or removed? Ask yourself that. Are they all just a bunch of Clinton lackeys? That's a good question. You guys should definitely think about that. There's some connections there that are really disturbing, especially when you look at Glenn Simpson, especially when you look at Bruce Orr, especially when you look at Fusion GPS and Perkins Coie, and then the Steele dossier. Yeah, you can make the connections for yourself, right? So next one's fascinating. Anon points out, it says, is Sather talking to the Washington Post a good thing? So apparently, I guess Jordan Sather is going to be talking to the Washington Post, or talked to them, did an interview. And Q has a response for this, but in the same vein, it's so weird because I just got through with an interview with Politico. They, the Politico magazine, actually, one of the writers there, Ben Schreckinger, reached out to me. I'd met him at a previous gathering, and he had reached out to me to do an interview. And he wanted to do like a phone interview, and I told him, look, just write me some questions, and I'll write you some answers back. We'll do it all in email. And I did that. So we're going to have to wait. I haven't seen any pieces yet, but I haven't been checking. So there could very well be a piece out right now in Politico about me. And Q has an important message about this. It says, and when the Anon asked to say they're talking to the Washington Post a good thing, Q asked, more importantly, why is the Washington Post leading the attack versus Q? Who owns the Washington Post? Who funds Amazon? Who targeted NSA regarding surveillance, expose, prevent pre-Uranium One Iran? Why are we attacked daily by the largest news companies in the world? And that's supposed to say in the world. It was just a typo. Use caution, high follower count targeting to direct, quote, deep in narrative, unquote, mob as method to remove. Q. This to me is like Jordan, Praying Medic, everyone out there, SGT, all these guys who are doing this work. This is Q telling us what's going on here. They're coming after us. Now, let's go through these one by one. It says, why is the Washington Post leading the attack versus Q? Well, because it's obviously, look at the history of the Washington Post and examine its connections to the CIA. That's all you have to do. Once you understand how the Washington Post started, then how it was infiltrated by the CIA, then you'll understand exactly how the Washington Post works. Who owns the Washington Post? Of course, Jeff Bezos. Who funds Amazon? Jeff Bezos' company. Of course, the CIA has contracts with him. So you see how this is all coming together? It says, who targeted NSA regarding surveillance to expose, prevent pre-Uranium One Iran? This is the CIA. What did the CIA do? According to several allegations that are out there, the CIA trained Edward Snowden on the farm and then sent him to the NSA pre-Uranium One and Iran deal so that he could steal all of their secret spy technology, right, and then give it to the Chinese and the Russians, thereby making it useless and ineffective, so that the CIA people, the people at the CIA who are working at the behest of others inside of higher positions in our government, right, are working in conjunction with, to set up Uranium One. What was Uranium One? That was a quid pro quo cash deal for the Clinton Foundation so they could sell 20% of our uranium to the Russians. What was the Iran deal? Well, Iran was making a deal with the Obama administration, allegedly, to throw money into a slush fund, right? And to so that, and in exchange, basically, here's how it worked. Let me hypothetically, because I'm not going to tell you any of this is fact, but let's say hypothetically, this is how it worked. Obama wanted money. So what Obama did, this is all hypothetical, took $150 billion and then 1 point something billion in cash, sends it to Iran. Where does the cash go? Goes on 3 different planes, goes to 3 different places. That money could end up anywhere. But what conveniently was the byproduct of that deal? Iran was to open up their markets to the West. And who would have first dibs on those markets? Not American corporations, European corporations, right? The old blue bloods of Europe, European governments, or the EU government. These guys were going to get first dibs on that emerging uranium market, which was going to be worth billions and billions of dollars, guys. So that's one theory about what happened. You want to call us all conspiracy theorists and we're all crazy, guys? The facts. If you followed this long enough, you'll understand that the fact pattern points to this outcome as being the outcome of what happened. But there's not enough proof to prove any of it. So I'm going to go ahead and just say it's all theoretical. But you guys do with that as you want, or whatever you want with that. That's just my opinion about what's going on. Well, it's not even my opinion. It's just the theories that are floating, the allegations that have been made. So it says, spelling error by mistake on the move Q, and that refers, of course, to this one, I think, where it's on the world. And now, going into the next one, we have the new Attorney General nominated. Who is this? William Barr has been confirmed by the Senate and sworn in as the Attorney General of the United States. Now, what's important about this? Well, I'm going to tell you what's important about it. It's exactly what Q is going to say. Effective today, Mueller reports to Barr. Coming weeks in the kill box, I think that means in the next coming weeks, the Mueller probe will end. Now, that doesn't mean that the House and Adam Schiff and the Intelligence Committee aren't going to open up another dozen investigations on what kind of salad dressing President Trump used during the campaign. But let me tell you this, that this is exactly what the plan was, right? What was the Whitaker, the Scaramucci model that we were being told about, right? You bring someone in who can do as much work as they can, and then you bring in someone else to oversee and to effectively change things. So maybe this is the full Scaramucci model, is that Barr is coming in to push, in my opinion, he's going to push Mueller to end the report, and I have a feeling that he's going to push Rod Rosenstein out, and also another top DOJ official, possibly. I think Bruce Orr. I'm pretty sure that he's still working there, but you guys correct me if I'm not. Anyway, that's the way I read that, and you guys let me know what you think down in the comments. I'd love to hear your take on it. Now, the next one is this tweet, which basically shows how an incredible coincidence, another one of the, I think at this point we're at hundreds, if not thousands of coincidences, but another coincidence at this point where at 3:14 exactly, the national emergency went public. The national emergency to build the wall. Remember this? Follow the watch. Do you remember that it was at 3:14 exactly? That's what the watch was at. And this pen with this pad, oh, maybe that's a declaration of national emergency being referenced there? Huh. And of course, here's at the on the floor of Congress in Capitol Hill. It's talking about the national emergency went public at 3:14 exactly. Follow the watch. Anons, go back and watch Fox News feed. Brother found on Twitter. Good. Just relaying. So, yeah, guys. It's all here. We've been told. And there's so many people out there who are doubting. And they're all just, if you're one of those people, that's fine. You are entitled to your opinion. Stuff is happening. We're watching things happen right now. We're being told the news today or tomorrow's news today, and we have the narrative that the mainstream media won't give us. What more could you want besides justice, which is coming? Okay? So that's the way I'll put it. But it says, how is this possible? How is that possible? On the same day as Barr confirmation? What a coincidence. Define the word plan. Q. This is it. This is the plan. This was the plan. This has been the plan. It always was the plan. So we're being told this. This is incredible. I had to share it with you. I thought it was great. And of course, here's another one from a Twitter account where it talks about President Trump making a statement, right? Saying he was calling for a great awakening. What have we been doing here for the last over a year? That's a direct shout out to everyone out here in the QAnon community who's been doing the research, who's been doing the work, who's been consistently following this information and reporting on it, sharing it, doing whatever you can with it, deciphering it, whatever. And the president wouldn't just say this out of nowhere, okay? That's my opinion. But it says, what a coincidence. We're returning publicly, pace picking up Q. So there's going to be a lot to come. You guys are going to want to stick around. We're going to have a lot more coming up here in the next few weeks and months, I'm sure. That's going to be fascinating to follow. And of course, here is one of the Anons basically just cut that out and posted it here. And Q just kind of point to it. So we are in the Great Awakening. It is here. This is where we're at. And I feel like I'm blessed to be able to share this with you here today. And I want to just say, stick around for a few minutes. We got a few more things. That's pretty much where we're going to wrap it up. But a few more things before we go. First of all, if you want to help out the channel, there are some pretty easy ways to do it. First, come here to the landing page, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit the bell for notifications, watch these videos, share them on your social media, hit that like button, let them know you're watching and you like the content, and don't forget to leave your thoughts, theories, and insights down below. Also, to help out the channel, you can come find me over here on Twitter at JustInformYou. Again, that's at JustInformYou on Twitter. You get all my cool tweets. You can come check this out. And go check out JustInformedNews.com, which is the official website for Just Informed Talk. You get all the content, all the videos from the YouTube channel. You get links to all the QAnon stuff. You get links to different news organizations. You get a couple good news feeds to follow. And that's a great website and tool for you guys to use. I encourage you to go check it out. And there's another way you can help out the channel. And look, YouTube doesn't want any of this to succeed, I don't believe. I don't believe that any of the big corporations want small organizations or just people like myself being able to break the media cycle. And this is why your support's needed, because they're doing everything they can to take the videos that I create out of suggested lists and to downrank them but you guys are still making it work. But I need your help, because when you come here to Patreon, it helps fund the channel, and I appreciate your help. It's a crowdfunding website. It's a monthly donation. You just come here, click this button, set it and forget it. Whatever you contribute will help create content here, and I will keep that content coming 24/7, 365 for you guys, because that's what my job is. That's what I do. So I appreciate your support. And I really, really, really thank you for coming here. There will be a link down in the description. Also, if you want to make a one-time donation, I have this GoFundMe. I'll link it down in the description as well. So, yeah, that's just two ways you can help out, and I really appreciate it. Now, before we go, I always take a second at the end of every episode and talk about the most important thing, which is God's grace and how it is truly greater. And for that today, I'm going to discuss a piece of scripture that really speaks to me, and I hope it speaks to you as well. And it's out of the book of 1 Corinthians, out of chapter 2. It's verses 6 through 9. But it talks about what spiritual wisdom is and what it means. And I want to share this with you, because I think these words, I think they really speak to me, and I hope they'll speak to your heart. It says, however, among the mature we do speak a wisdom, but not a wisdom of this age, or of the rulers of this age, who are coming to nothing. On the contrary, we speak God's hidden wisdom, in a mystery which God predestined before the ages for our glory. None of the rulers of this age knew it, for if they had known it, they would not have crucified the Lord of glory. But as it is written, what no eye has seen and no ear has heard, and what has never come into a man's heart, is what God has prepared for those who love him. And that's it, guys. Don't forget, God absolutely loves you. God is here for you. The wisdom that we have, it's not, or that we should hope to attain, should not be of this world. It shouldn't be of the rulers of this world that will come to nothing. Like it says, they'll be dust just like the rest of us. But what won't come to nothing is our Lord and Savior, our God. And when we put our lives to him, when we spend our lives seeking his wisdom and praising his glorious name, then what no eye has seen and what no ear has heard and what has never come into a man's heart is what God has prepared for those who love him. So remember that message. God absolutely loves you, and there are things that God has in store for you that you may not even be able to imagine, but they exist, and they're there, and they're attainable, and all you have to do is turn yourself over to God. I know for myself, I spent a long time reaching out to God and asking him to give me direction, and it was hard. It was not easy. I went through tough times. I went through great adversity. I went through tremendous suffering. And through all that, every single day, I asked God, God, show me a way. Give me a path. Make me your most humble servant. Find a way to use me to make your world better. And God answered that prayer, and he continues to answer that prayer every day because I've devoted my life to him and his glory. And that's what you and everyone else needs to do. And you need to share that message with your friends and family and everyone out in the world. Let them know that there is glory beyond your imagination that God has in store for you. And all you have to do is open your heart to God and embrace him. So that's where I'm going to leave it. I want to say thank you guys for joining me here, and thank you for all your support. And make sure you share this link, share this video, get the word out there, whatever you have to do, get it on your social medias, because nobody's doing me any favors over here at YouTube, it seems. So that's all good, though. I want to say thank you guys truly for coming and watching the content. Make sure if you haven't hit that subscribe button, hit it now. And if you haven't hit the like button, please hit the like button. But that's going to be it for me. I want to say thanks for watching Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed. And God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.